4 signings, 1 window. Nottingham Forest are going big, and fans across the football world can't stop talking about it. We're talking James McAtee, Omari Hutchinson, Douglas Luiz, and Arnaud Kalimuendo, all linked or already agreed. For some, it's the most exciting Forest news in years. For others, it's a bold gamble that could make or break their season. Before we dive into all the reactions, quick reminders that if you love hearing the real voice of the fans, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us your take in the comments. You Reds or not, this one's gonna get opinions flying. For a huge chunk of Forest supporters, this quadruple swoop feels like a dream come true. People are already chanting Forest are magic, and you can practically feel the city ground buzzing. Some are so confident they're already imagining lifting the Europa Cup. Others are just loving the statement of intent. One fan simply shouted, "Come on, you Reds!" while another declared, "We're so back." The confidence isn't just about numbers, it's about quality. McAtee in particular is getting serious praise. A few people are even comparing this to the Cole Palmer situation. Pep Guardiola letting another homegrown talent slip away, and Forest swooping in to benefit. One person called McAtee a brilliant signing that could easily come back to haunt Manchester City. And then there's the nostalgia. One fan brought up a famous Brian Clough quote, warning others not to write Forest off. That's the kind of belief that runs deep. Several fans think this could be the moment Forest truly cement themselves as a Premier League force. Words like here to stay and massive are popping up everywhere. Some point out how different the mood feels now compared to just a few weeks ago. After losing Anthony Elanga and fearing they might also lose Morgan Gibbs-White, optimism was low. Now, it's flipped. A fan summed it up perfectly. Was worried after a slow start to the transfer window, and now they're about to sign 3 quality players. Even non-Forest fans are impressed. A Liverpool supporter chimed in, calling them the best team in the country. And no, they weren't joking. Of course, no big transfer news is complete without a little banter. One person said, if Carlsberg did quadruple deals, while another took aim at Manchester United, joking about the chaos if they ever tried to work on 4 signings at the same time. Crystal Palace also caught some stray fire. More than one fan mentioned Europa League money and laughed about Palace being in the mud. Another took a playful jab at Tottenham, saying even Forest do transfers better than Spurs. There's also the serious club narrative. People are loving how ambitious the board looks, with some even giving special thanks to Evangelos Marinakis, the owner, for keeping Gibbs-White and pushing for big names. But as always, not everyone's sold on the hype. Some think Forest are overspending, especially on McAtee. A few called £30 million the bargain of the century, but others called it robbery for a half-decent player. One person was openly skeptical about the timing, wondering why Forest waited until just days before the season kicked off to make these moves. Another questioned whether all 4 players are actually top quality, calling most of them mediocre at best. There's also the classic Premier League caution. What happens if McAtee shines? City might want him back, and that could leave Forest empty-handed. Pep couldn't escape the conversation either. A lot of fans see this as another example of him letting English talent slip through his fingers. Some brought up Palmer again, saying McAtee could be just as much of a regret for City. Others called it a big mistake and accused Pep of never really giving homegrown players a proper chance. There's also a fair bit of what-if speculation floating around. One fan suggested swapping Hutchinson for Bakwa to make the deal absolutely unreal. Another wondered if these moves are preparing for life without Gibbs-White in January. A backup plan for when he eventually goes for big money. On the flip side, some think Forest should have sold MGW if they were going to make these signings, freeing up more funds. And one even said Luiz might be better suited for a team like Everton. You can't ignore the ripple effect on other clubs. Crystal Palace and Spurs caught a lot of heat, but there was also curiosity about what this means for Arsenal, Liverpool, and even Newcastle. Someone joked that if Hutchinson went to Newcastle and McAtee landed there too, the Magpies could push for top 4. And then, in pure rivalry spirit, one blunt voice said, "I've never wanted a club to fail more in my life." Hey, it's football. Passion cuts both ways. Whether you see this as genius squad building or risky overexcitement, the fact is Nottingham Forest have grabbed the football world's attention. A quadruple swoop isn't just about players, it's a statement. It tells the league, the fans, and the rivals that Forest aren't here to just survive. They're here to compete. Some say it's bold, some say it's reckless, but everyone's talking about it, and that in itself is a win for the club's momentum heading into the new season. So here's the question. Is this the best transfer window in Forest modern history, or are they biting off more than they can chew? Are McAtee, Hutchinson, Luiz and Kalimuendo enough to push them into European glory? Or will it all fall flat by Christmas? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you enjoyed this roundup, and don't forget to subscribe for more real fan reaction breakdowns. Because if this is just the start, the rest of Forest's season is going to be one wild ride.